Bruno Mars has always been a master of surprises. From chart-topping hits to jaw-dropping performances, he's built a career on charisma, talent, and pure showmanship. But recently, he revealed something so unexpected that fans everywhere were left speechless. It wasn't a new album, a tour announcement, or a high-profile collaboration. It was something far more personal, and it shattered every assumption people had about him for years. Bruno Mars has been seen as the ultimate entertainer, the guy who can make an entire stadium dance, the performer who owns the stage, the singer whose voice can give you chills and your heart the warmest beat. People think they know him, but the truth, most fans haven't seen the real Bruno Mars. And now, for the first time ever, he's opening up about a side of his life and career that no one could have predicted. In a candid interview, Bruno revealed the story behind a decision that changed everything for his music, his image, and even his personal life. It's a revelation so shocking, so unexpected, that it's already trending worldwide. Fans are sharing, commenting, and rewatching the clips, trying to piece together how this secret slipped under the radar for so long. This isn't just a behind-the-scenes glimpse, it's a story about courage, reinvention, and taking risks that could make or break a superstar. Bruno Mars, the man who's given us endless hits and unforgettable performances, has a side no one anticipated. Until now, prepare to see Bruno Mars in a way you never imagined, because what he just revealed proves that even global icons can surprise the world. Before Bruno Mars became a household name, he was just Peter Jean Hernandez, a young kid growing up in Honolulu, Hawaii, surrounded by music, family, and the rhythm of life that would one day define his career. From the moment he could talk, music was everywhere in his household. His father was a percussionist, his mother a singer, and the family home was filled with instruments, records, and endless practice sessions. Bruno's childhood was far from ordinary. By the age of 4, he was performing in his family band, honing the skills that would one day captivate the world. His early exposure to diverse musical styles from reggae to R&B, funk to soul shaped the unique sound that would later make him a global superstar. But despite all the talent around him, Bruno faced the same challenges every aspiring artist encounters: doubt, competition, and the question of whether his passion could ever translate into a real career. As a teenager, Bruno performed in local shows, small bars, and community events. His energy was magnetic, but he knew talent alone wouldn't carry him. He needed something more: an identity, a signature style, and a path that would separate him from the thousands of other gifted musicians dreaming of fame. Moving to Los Angeles was a turning point. The city was a minefield of opportunity and risk. Bruno navigated auditions, recording sessions, and collaborations with industry veterans. He wrote songs, performed tirelessly, and slowly built a reputation for being not only talented, but also innovative. His breakthrough didn't come overnight. It was a combination of relentless work, networking, and being in the right place at the right time. By the time hits like Just the Way You Are and Grenade dominated the charts, Bruno Mars had transformed from a local prodigy into a global sensation. But with success came pressures that most fans never see: contracts, media scrutiny, relentless touring schedules, and the need to constantly innovate created a complex world behind the glitz and glamour. And it's within this world that Bruno's revelation occurred. Despite his fame, wealth, and success, he faced choices that were deeply personal decisions that could affect his music, his career, and even his personal happiness. This revelation is not just a secret, it's a story about the challenges behind the lights, the courage required to make unconventional decisions, and the unexpected risks even superstars must take. What Bruno revealed caught the public off guard because it shattered assumptions. Fans assumed they knew him through music videos, award shows, and interviews. But the truth revealed a side of Bruno Mars that few ever anticipated, a side defined by bold choices, personal sacrifices, and creative risks that could have either propelled him even higher or led to failure. This is the story of a global superstar showing the world that even icons can surprise us. What comes next is not just about Bruno Mars the performer, it's about Bruno Mars the innovator, the human being, and the artist who dared to reveal a side of himself that no one saw coming. For years, Bruno Mars cultivated a public image that seemed almost flawless. Smooth, charming, and effortlessly talented, he became the epitome of modern pop and R&B stardom. Audiences saw a performer who could command a stage, deliver chart-topping hits, and keep fans dancing from dusk till dawn. But behind that polished exterior, Bruno was grappling with choices and secrets that very few people knew. It all came to light during a candid interview in late 2025. Sitting down with a journalist, Bruno revealed something that stunned fans and industry insiders alike, a side of his life that had never been publicly discussed. He wasn't talking about a new album, a personal scandal, or an acting role. He was talking about a decision that changed the course of his career, his music, and even how he connects with his fans. According to Bruno, for years he had been quietly experimenting with a musical direction that he never released publicly. It was raw, emotional, and deeply personal, far removed from the polished pop hits the world knew him for. In fact, he admitted that he had considered walking away from the mainstream spotlight entirely to pursue this project in secrecy. The idea was radical: a global superstar stepping back from fame to create art purely for passion, rather than profit or recognition. The revelation shocked fans because Bruno had never given any hint of dissatisfaction or hesitation before. He had appeared confident, in control, and continuously successful. But the truth was far more complicated. Bruno confessed that the pressures of fame, the constant tours, media scrutiny, and public expectations sometimes made him question whether he was truly expressing himself. As an artist, he had been living two lives: Bruno Mars, the public icon, and Bruno Mars, the private creator, experimenting in ways no one could see. What made this revelation even more surprising was the sheer courage it took to admit it. Few artists of his stature would openly confess to such internal struggles. It meant acknowledging vulnerability, risk, and the possibility of public judgment. But Bruno Mars embraced that vulnerability, explaining that it was essential for his growth not only as a musician, but as a person. The public reaction was immediate. Fans flooded social media with support, expressing admiration for his honesty. Critics praised him for shedding light on the unseen realities of fame. Industry insiders nodded in respect, recognizing that Bruno's revelation was not only brave but also rare. It wasn't about a scandal or controversy. It was about authenticity, creative freedom, and the courage to be human in an industry that often demands perfection. This revelation also offered insight into Bruno's music. Listening closely to his past albums, fans began to notice subtle signs of experimentation and personal expression that hinted at the private projects he had been nurturing. The interviews revealed that some of his unreleased songs, hidden from public view, contained lyrical depth and musical innovation that foreshadowed his willingness to break conventional boundaries. Bruno's revelation reminded the world that fame and talent are only part of an artist's story. Behind the glitz, the awards, and the sold-out tours, there are decisions, risks, and sacrifices that remain unseen. It is in these unseen moments, quiet, personal, and sometimes painful, that true artistry is born. In revealing what no one saw coming, Bruno Mars not only surprised the world, but he also reclaimed control over his narrative, showing that even a global superstar can choose authenticity over expectation. Fans realized that Bruno wasn't just a performer. They were witnessing the journey of an artist committed to truth, passion, and creative evolution. And this revelation was only the beginning. As Bruno hinted, what comes next in his career may defy every expectation, even those of his most loyal fans. When Bruno Mars revealed the side of himself no one expected, the reaction was immediate and profound. Fans were stunned not because they didn't adore him, but because they had assumed they already knew everything about the superstar. Social media exploded with speculation, support, and admiration, as millions shared clips of the interview, dissected his words, and debated what this revelation meant for the future of his music. The impact on fans went beyond simple fascination. For many, it was a deeply humanizing moment. Bruno Mars, the performer who seemed perfect and untouchable, was suddenly someone they could relate to, a man navigating the pressures of fame, creativity, and personal fulfillment. Parents, teenagers, and longtime fans alike expressed that the revelation reminded them that even stars wrestle with vulnerability, doubt, and tough choices. His honesty became a form of inspiration, showing that courage isn't just about being brave on stage, it's also about being brave in life. Industry insiders were equally affected. Producers, fellow musicians, and record executives praised Bruno's willingness to take risks and defy expectations. Some noted that his decision to explore unreleased projects or experimental music privately demonstrated a level of artistic integrity few artists maintain. Once they achieve global superstardom, his revelation also sparked conversations in the industry about the pressures placed on performers, the limitations fame can impose, and the importance of creative freedom. From a professional standpoint, the revelation gave Bruno a renewed sense of agency. For years, he had been navigating the tightrope between commercial success and personal expression. The acknowledgement of his private projects and unconventional choices was not only liberating, it sent a message to his peers that it's possible to succeed while staying true to oneself. By openly discussing what he had kept hidden for so long, Bruno effectively reclaimed control over his public narrative. He was no longer just the entertainer fans loved. He was also the visionary artist they hadn't fully seen. On a personal level, this moment marked a turning point. Bruno admitted that keeping this part of his life private for so long had been difficult. The constant expectation to produce hits, maintain a polished image, and meet fan and industry demands often left him questioning whether he could fully express his creativity. By revealing his secret projects and personal struggles, he experienced a sense of relief and authenticity he had never felt before. For Bruno, the revelation was not just a public statement, it was a personal liberation. This openness also influenced his future music. Fans and critics alike speculated that upcoming projects would reflect a deeper, more experimental sound, infused with the creative risks he had been quietly cultivating. The revelation created anticipation and excitement, promising a new era in his career, one defined not only by charisma and hits, but also by authenticity and artistic exploration. Ultimately, the ripple effect of Bruno Mars' revelation was twofold. For the public, it was a reminder that even the brightest stars have unseen depths, hidden struggles, and personal choices that shape their journey. For the music industry, it was an example of how honesty, courage, and creative integrity can inspire respect, admiration, and influence. Bruno's revelation transformed him from a beloved performer into a symbol of artistic authenticity, showing that even those who seem to have it all are still navigating complex, unseen challenges. By revealing what no one saw coming, Bruno Mars not only surprised the world, but he also reminded everyone that true artistry isn't just about talent, it's about courage, honesty, and the willingness to take risks, both on stage and off. Bruno Mars' revelation did more than shock fans, it marked the beginning of a new era in his life and career. For years, he had been living under the dual pressures of global fame and personal artistic ambition. The public saw only the polished performances, the chart-topping hits, and the flawless stage presence. Behind the scenes, however, Bruno was quietly cultivating ideas, experimenting with sounds, and considering creative risks that he hadn't yet shared with the world. The revelation made it clear the Bruno Mars we knew was only part of the story. In the wake of the announcement, fans and critics alike speculated about what was coming next. Would he release the private projects he had been keeping secret? Would his music take on a new, experimental sound? Or would he continue blending his signature pop and R&B style with hints of deeper, more personal creativity? The possibilities were endless, and anticipation reached fever pitch. Social media buzzed with excitement, with fans analyzing every hint, every lyric, and every subtle clue in his interviews. For Bruno himself, the revelation was profoundly liberating. He admitted that keeping such personal artistic work hidden had weighed heavily on him. The pressure to maintain commercial success while exploring private creative ideas often felt like walking a tightrope. But by openly sharing his journey, he reclaimed control over his narrative. He could finally align his personal vision with his public persona. breaking free from the constraints of expectation. In doing so, Bruno demonstrated that fame doesn't have to limit authenticity, it can, in fact, amplify it when paired with courage. The music industry took notice. Fellow artists, producers, and executives praised Bruno for setting an example of transparency and self-expression. In a world where image often outweighs substance, he reminded everyone that artistry is about more than selling records, it's about taking risks, being honest, and staying true to one's vision. His courage inspired not only his fans, but also his peers, many of whom admired his willingness to reveal a side of himself that had remained hidden for years. Bruno's personal life, too, benefited from the revelation. No longer carrying the weight of secrecy and unexpressed creativity, he could focus on projects that mattered most to him. Whether it was experimenting with new musical genres, collaborating with emerging artists, or simply creating music that reflected his true self, he now had the freedom to pursue his passions without fear. For Bruno Mars, the revelation wasn't just about surprising the public, it was about reclaiming joy, authenticity, and control over his craft. As fans, we are fortunate to witness this evolution. Bruno Mars has shown that even the most successful, seemingly untouchable artists face personal and professional challenges. What sets him apart is his courage to share those experiences openly. His revelation serves as a reminder that growth, creativity, and transformation are ongoing processes, even for global superstars. Looking forward, the future of Bruno Mars' career feels limitless. His upcoming projects promise not only the infectious energy we've come to love, but also the depth, experimentation, and vulnerability he revealed in his candid interview. Fans can expect music that is bold, innovative, and authentically Bruno music that challenges conventions while staying true to the emotional core that has always defined his artistry. In the end, Bruno Mars' story is a testament to the power of honesty, creativity, and the courage to reveal one's true self. By showing the world what no one saw coming, he transformed not just his career, but also his legacy. He reminds us all that even icons can surprise us, inspire us, and redefine what it means to be an artist in the modern world. Bruno Mars may have started as a boy from Honolulu with a dream, but today he stands as a global superstar, a fearless innovator, and a symbol of artistic integrity. And as fans, we get to watch the next chapter unfold, one full of surprises, creativity, and the unmistakable magic that only Bruno Mars can deliver.